y'all, it's Meg and welcome back to my channel. It's definitely been a while since I posted a video, but it's the beginning of the new year and I wanted to take a look back at last year's resolutions. I know there was somebody in one of my other videos that asked if I was going to do kind of like a look back at what I was able to accomplish last year, you know. So I always do my resolutions, but very rarely on the YouTube channel do I go back and look at them. I do look at them on my blog, and I will link my blog post down below, so if you guys want to look at that, you can. But if you prefer video format, I'm going to go over last year's resolutions and what I was able to accomplish, what I kind of missed the mark on, what I learned from all of that, because I think last year was probably one of my more challenging years for mental health. I thought 2020 was pretty bad. But 2021 definitely had its moments too. So we're gonna go over last year's resolutions and see where I came out at. All right, so first let's talk about what I did accomplish. So one of my first goals for my blog and / YouTube channel was to rebrand my blog, and I did manage to do that. It took most of the year for me to settle on what I wanted the blog to look like, as well as what I eventually wanted the YouTube channel to look like. So they've both undergone transformations this year, or well, last year, because it's 2022 now. But it definitely took from mid-year to the tail end of 2021 before I had a style and a brand nailed down. So I did accomplish that. The second goal that I had was to update all of my past blog posts, especially if I was doing new branding, and I was able to do that. I updated them with new headers. I updated them with links from future posts, especially if those blogs were like years old. I have been blogging for 7-8 years now, so there was definitely quite a backlog to go back through, but I was able to update all of those right as I started to release my new branding, so that was nice. And then I had some YouTube goals that I really wanted to meet. One of those was to make a sit-down video every couple of months, and I was able to do that for the most part. I did take some breaks because of my mental health, so I still count it as a win. But if you wanted to be nitpicky, technically I didn't meet the goal, but in my eyes, I met the goal. The other one was to upload at least 3 videos a month. And other than taking a mental health break, which happened at the tail end of 2021, I was able to meet that goal as well. This year, I will go ahead and spoiler alert, I am not going to increase the videos per month. I was kind of leading up to 4 videos a month, so like a video a week. But I just don't think that that would be something that I could accomplish between making sure I'm taking care of my mental health, between my real life work, as well as keeping up with my blog and writing. So it's just not something that I think I can accomplish, but I think 3 videos a month is still very doable in my book. And the other YouTube goal was to invest in better equipment, and I was definitely able to do that. I have a brand new ring light. I have taken up the quality for my webcam. I am looking into possibly getting a new microphone. And I was able to like go into OBS and like play with all my settings, and just everything about my YouTube videos look and feel so much better than when I very first started. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, now let's talk about what I didn't accomplish. And this is not to put like a damper on the video, because everybody, when they go about setting these resolutions, it's with the goal in mind to actually complete them. And while I did really want to complete these, there were some roadblocks, and I'll go over that as we go over these. One of those goals was to write a quote-unquote think piece for a video game. And what I had envisioned this think piece being was almost like a research paper. It was going to be extremely in-depth with like resources or sources cited, and I wanted to really dive into everything about the video game, and I have one in mind. The thing with this is I started it, and I would say I'm maybe like 15% of the way there. I started it, but I didn't complete it. And the goal next year is to complete that in time for October, because I would like for it to go up in October. So that is something that is going to go into the resolutions for 2022. The other goal I had was for my blog, and I wanted to try to reach 2,000 followers, 2,000 WordPress followers on my blog. I was not able to meet that, and I knew when I made that resolution that it was going to be a very lofty goal, considering that my blog grows, but it's a very slow and steady growth. But the audience that I do have are very loyal. So I'm very thankful that the audience I do have is extremely supportive of what I do. And I kind of figured I wasn't going to hit 2,000. So I think for next year, I'm not going to try to hit a WordPress follower goal. We'll see what happens there. But just for perspective, I ended 2021 with 1,368 followers. So pretty far off. But I kind of knew when I made that goal that it was going to be very lofty. And I don't think my blog's in a place where I can reach those numbers quickly. I just don't think it's going to happen. And then I had a couple of goals for streaming. And I was not able to stream once in 2021. And that was for a couple of reasons. So one of my goals was to give Twitch streaming a try. And while I have OBS all ready to go, and I planned all of this stuff, but when it came down to actually streaming, I felt really nervous. I don't have a Twitch audience built up, and thinking about talking to myself was really scary, even though I do it for YouTube videos. I talk to myself all the time for YouTube videos, but something about doing it on a streaming platform and not knowing if I'm even going to get one person to watch was really scary. For this year, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it either, and not because of just the fear of failing, but also because of everything else that's going on in my life currently. And then I wanted to also try to stream for charity, which I realize now was probably a silly goal, and I think I even mentioned it in my blog post when I wrote about it, that I was worried that I wouldn't be successful because I didn't have an audience built up. So I was thinking in that moment that I would have a very small charity goal, like $100, and to see if I could meet it, in a 4-hour stream, see if I could hit $100. But since I was too scared to even go about trying it, obviously that did not happen either. And then my last goal was a YouTube goal, and I wanted to try to reach 300 subscribers. That's another goal that I was really nervous about meeting because, again, I have not gone viral. My content is something that is very niche, but also oversaturated in certain parts of YouTube. So I didn't think I was going to meet 300 subscribers, but I did end the year with 249 subscribers. So that was really nice. I mean, I was only 50 subscribers off. So it wasn't as lofty of a goal as I initially thought. So I do think I'm going to revisit that goal for 2022. All right, and then the second half of my resolutions, like I do every year, are my personal resolutions. So things I want for myself, not necessarily things I want for my YouTube channel or the blog, just things that I want for me and my personal life. So one of those goals was to create a vision board, and I was able to do that. I think I did that I finished it right at the end of February, and I posted it on my blog in March. And if you aren't sure what a vision board is, it's kind of like a visualization of your goals for the year. I did something a little different with mine. I didn't represent just the goals that I had for myself. I also put some things in there that I wanted to happen, years from now, or things that I wanted to start to prepare for. So I'll link that down below as well if that's something that you want to see, if you want to see a vision board. And then another goal I had was to read for half an hour a week. I was able to accomplish that. And I did that by not limiting myself to just books, physical books. I was reading books on Kindle Unlimited. I was reading manga. I was also reading webtoons. I started reading fan fiction towards like the endish of the year, the endish part of the year. So by not limiting myself, I was able to easily meet that goal of half an hour a week. Another goal I had was to work on my self-confidence and self-love. And I knew when I put such a broad resolution on my list for 2021 that it was going to be very hard to gauge whether or not it was successful, especially without me putting in like exactly what I had planned to do and like if I was giving myself a time frame. But this is something that is going to have to be something that I work on, you know, for years, for several years, you know, if not for the rest of my life. But I do think that I came from a worse spot than I ended the year with. So at the beginning of the year, I was at a level, and then I ended the year at a higher level. So to me, I counted that as a win. It's something that I'm still working on, and I've started implementing other ways for me to work on my self-confidence and my self-love in ways that aren't necessarily measurable, but ways that make myself feel good, if that makes sense. And then some other goals that I completed, I was able to complete at least 2 games from my backlog. Both were Kingdom Hearts. I was also able to do a couple of more games from my backlog, which was nice. And I did put reviews of those up on my blog. So it was like kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, which was nice. And then I also did plan a trip with the ongoing Panini. We ended up going to Tennessee in April. We took both the dogs. It was a lot of fun. It was very chill. We stayed for a few days. It was a 9-hour drive from where we live. So it was a long drive, but it was absolutely worth staying in a beautiful remote cabin in Tennessee. Recommend. It was great. And then the last goal I was able to accomplish was I wanted to update our budget and financial goals. Now that we have moved into a new house, a house that we own, that's in our name, that we're able to take care of, there was a lot of things that needed to kind of change financially for us, especially our goals. Because we're planning on doing some stuff with the house. We're planning on redoing the kitchen. We're planning on finishing the basement. We're planning on redoing the office. That's going to be a goal for this year. We're going to redo the office this year, as well as redo the flooring up here. Kind of hard to see because my background is blurry on purpose. But the flooring up here is as old as the house. It's 20 years old, so the flooring has got to go. Okay, for the goals that I didn't meet, let's talk about those. So I had planned on journaling twice a month, and that did not work out at all. I started the year off strong, and then I just totally dipped out of it. I would remember that I was supposed to be journaling, and I would journal religiously for a little bit, and then I would drop off. So I'm going to revisit that goal for 2022, but I'm not going to make myself be so rigid about what constitutes as journaling and the time I spend doing it. So we're going to revisit that one, but I wasn't able to accomplish it for 2021. The other one was taking a 24-hour break from social media at least once a month. And I'll tell you what really messed that goal up. For a long time, I think it was like 6, 7, 8 months, I deactivated my Facebook, and it was great. Fantastic. Recommend. I did turn my Facebook back on, but I took the app off of my phone. So if I want to check Facebook, I have to actually get on the computer to go look at Facebook. And I did this for several reasons. One, I did it because I needed Facebook Marketplace. Having a new house, there were some things that we really needed, and Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find, thrifted furniture and things like that, things that you might need for the house. And also, I bought a Prius at the beginning of 2021, and I wanted to join a mod group for modding my Prius. So there was a few reasons for turning it back on, as well as keeping up with family. But before I turned it back on, I started a TikTok, and TikTok is really what screwed up that goal, because I never took a break from TikTok. I had no problem taking a break from Twitter, had no problem taking a break from Facebook, but TikTok did me in. So I did not accomplish that for 2021. The other goal that I had that we also didn't meet was having a phoneless and TV-less date night at least once a month. I don't think we had, but maybe 1 or 2 date nights that we didn't have the television involved. It's pretty easy for us to put our phones away if we are watching a movie, but 9 times out of 10 we're watching that movie on Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus. So, but I also really thought that by 2021 we would go back to some kind of normalcy so that we could actually leave the house to go on date nights. And there were a couple of times that we were able to leave the house for date nights. There was one date night where we went out to eat, and then we went to the movies. We went to the movie theater. But it quickly got back out of hand, at least in the area that we live. And so date nights became inside again. And it was much harder to think about what did we want a date night to look like that didn't involve the television. So we didn't meet that goal this year. And then the last one that I didn't meet was getting my documents in order. And what I meant by that was I wanted to start doing some adult things, like getting a will together and all that good stuff. And what I ended up doing was I did find a lawyer that I wanted to go through. So I did some research, but I didn't actually go through with creating the will and all that good stuff. So we're going to try and do that in 2022. But I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer. I'm sure everybody found this interesting to kind of see where I started, where we ended. I met several of my goals, which I'm very happy with. And then the goals that I didn't meet were really good lessons learned. It was really good lessons learned and helped me create my resolutions for 2022, which we will get into next week. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!